Okay, let us turn to page 4, Refuge in Bodhicitta. Okay, the wisdom of emptiness which we are studying, this is something which requires what is known as merit accumulation. Merit accumulation. And this may be something new in the context of new for the people who are with the modern education and who have no exposure to the Asian culture, particularly the Buddhist, Jain, and Hindu. So this concept of merit accumulation, this is something extremely important, and where the merit accumulation that is missing, then even though you have your plans in your mind, your proper blueprints, plans, roadmaps created well created in your mind, things don't happen the way you intended, the way you planned in your mind, the way you have in your mind. Things don't happen. You think that this is how it works, and it doesn't work that way. It happens sometimes. So merit accumulation is so precious. And when I was young, in my in my teenage, then in my 20s, this is what we're constantly popping up in our talks, discussions, and so forth. Merit accumulation is required. So now it's very clear, given that I meet with so many people, I go to different places, I interact with different people. From there, meeting with the people, I could see that the mindset of the different people, and who is more meritorious, who is less meritorious. So what is merit accumulation? For example, let's say some people, they work so hard in the merit accumulations of two kinds, in the mundane sense and in the super mundane sense, or in the spiritual sense. In the mundane sense, it's like somebody who's successful. What do you call a success? Successful, who without any effort, things happen the way the person likes, wealth, good health, good environment and so forth, which happens so naturally without effort. Some people, they put so much effort and still nothing happens. It's not at all like cost effective. How much effort that you put in, the result coming is the result that you get so less. Some people, they invest so less and they get so much. So this is all related to the merit accumulation. And oftentimes, even nowadays, even amongst the Tibetans, the Indians, of course that is the part of their culture, but then still the younger ones, somehow they don't get this understanding of what is known as merit accumulation. And they think that, for example, even somebody who is so keen on Dharma, with the studies and so forth, but they don't, this conviction and the belief in their merit accumulation is not coming. So where the merit accumulation is missing, then things will not happen the way you like. This is what happens. So what are you doing here? They're reading these, particularly the wisdom of emptiness. And on one hand, I would say that each one of us, you, me, all of us here, meeting with these 7 stanzas of our Nagarjunas, the teaching on emptiness. This is extremely precious. At the same time, some of you might have just signed up, right, without any proper planning. And some of you might have, I know, like Sonamla, CJ or JC? CJ, yes. This is always my confusion. CJ and CJ is two friends from Singapore, from Malaysia. This Serene, right, and Jean from Malaysia. So they came all the way, and then Thuyen all the way from the Vietnam, came there all the way from Singapore, came. So these, there is a difference there. And then I'm sure some people who deliberately came just for this purpose, all the way from far away other places. There's the great accumulation merit happening. It's my personal experience. It was like when I was in my 20s in South India, where financial situation was in dire, they say the difficult financial situation as a young boy from South India, all the way coming to teaching for His Holiness in Dharamsala, and not knowing where to stay, no money for hotel, nothing. So just going to unpacking your small bag in in any of the monks' place there in Dharamsala. So that would be what I noticed was that they say within, it's not a spiritual realization, it's not a spiritual revelation, but going there with all these, it simply, while there's a physical hardship there, it also entails your mental dedication, mental commitment, mental investment on this extremely important thing, and because of which, say, you listen to His Holiness in a few days' time, your thought process is also becomes very different. For example, like not at all even close to the realization of emptiness, but still your perception changes. In 2-3 days' time, there's a tremendous power of His Holiness. His Holiness' blessings are there, and your perception changes of the world. This is just amazing experience. And then when everything's ready, just coming to your door, everything's coming to your door, although you are fully there, fully prepared, no investment from your side, nothing really happens. It's just like any other lecture from it's the same teacher, but your investment is lacking. Nothing, it's just additional information. Yeah, even that, in worst case, yeah, I know that already. He's already said it before. I know it's already, it is in the book. I don't know. Nothing really leaves any impact in the mind. Transformation, where they seeing the possibility of, okay, if this experience continues, then the real transformation in emotions can happen. All this confidence happens when you invest something, and the text that was so precious, like the second Buddha, Nagarjuna, and for example, taught by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, then your investment is there. You can see very strange experiences, very profound experiences. Well, from your side, investment is not there. So what is that, your investment from your side? Dedication, commitment, and so forth. These are the merit accumulation. So alongside, what we're reading here is not for the sake of ritual. It's not a ritual at all. And what I would say is that, of course, ritual is not bad. Ritual is not bad. When things go purely ritualistic, that is when we're going wrong. When rituals, knowing the meaning of the rituals, the purpose of and after all, whatever we do, they should have benefit in bringing about transformation in your mind. By engaging these rituals, if your compassion is increasing, that ritual is your spiritual path. And by staying away from the rituals, if your compassion is growing, if you are becoming a happier and happier person, if you become more and more fearless person, that is your spiritual path. So there's no fixed hard and fast rule to say that this is the path, this is not the path. No. Anything that you do takes you towards these two goals, the fearlessness and expansion of happiness. That is your spiritual path. So Buddhism mind, in reality, never is it the case that you go to keep playing football and you will have your happiness growing and your fearlessness growing. Keep going to the pubs, right? Keep going to the pubs and your happiness is growing, and if you fearlessness growing, temporarily, yes, you may go into what do you call it? Huh? No, there is some, very beautiful slangs. You go high, yeah, you go a little high, fearlessness comes, and you seem to become more compassionate, right? Yeah, when you become a little high, sometimes you become more compassionate, sometimes you become, you become more angry, aggressive, sometimes you become more compassionate. But then the intoxication, the influence of the intoxication, the diminishes, again you remain the same person. You become the same person. Whereas, so the point is that whatever you do, your fearlessness increases, keeps increasing stably, your happiness keeps increasing stably. That is your spiritual path. Whatever you do, you don't have to do any dharma practice. You don't have to do any, say, the emptiness meditation, bodhisattva meditation. No need. But the reality is that without these two, it does not happen. So for this, you don't really believe me. Study this, be exposed, and then you get the confidence that that's very true. Okay, so this is how it works. For example, when I was younger, my teacher used to always advise me that when you are in a community, Dorji, when you go to a community, make sure that you don't create any problem to anybody else. There's always advice. Even though you are right, still don't create any problem to anybody else. And I would say that, no, this is not the advice my teacher should be giving. My teacher is a spiritual teacher. This is about the mundane life. And then I know how to deal with my life, right? So this was what I used to think. And then, but of course, to my teacher, yes sir, right? And then when something wrong, a young boy, hot blood, somebody says, you stupid, I would say, you stupid, right? So this is where my teacher must be seeing in this young boy, hot blood young boy, that he may easily say, you stupid, if somebody says, you stupid. Till that point, he will not create problem to others. Somebody else create problems, he'll respond. So always this is my teacher's advice. Don't react to anything in your life. This advice. And then as I catch up with my age, I see that this is so precious in your life. Even if the other person is really nasty, you don't have to prove that you are wrong, right? But if that person, what the person is doing, has a very bad influence on others, some people, they try to justify what you're doing by saying that this person is a bad influence on others. No, sometimes it's not the case. Person may be nasty towards you, but may not be nasty towards others. And usually what I say is that if the person is nasty towards you, generally this person is nasty towards others also, if you're not nasty yourself. If that's the case, you don't have to teach, somebody else will teach. It's not your job to teach that person. There's somebody else, another nasty people over there who will teach the lesson, right? So you don't have to take this responsibility. You take the responsibility to make sure that you become happier. By teaching lesson to somebody will not make you happier. This is not your journey. For example, coming to any center, joining any center, for example, in the Singapore Tibetan Buddhist Center, right? And joining any center, you have not joined this center. How do you just imagine that you enter into one center, and how did you join it? What is the motivation? It's a twofold motivation. One is that, Okay, in your center, is there any complicated people? I'll come to teach a lesson to the person. Is this how you join? Or I have some problem. I want to learn something. I want to, distress myself. And I heard about this center. So how do you join? 100% people join with the second motivation, second motive, not with the first. But once you join, then you try to justify that this person is wrong. This person is wrong. This is not a job. Yet again, your job is just with what motivation you have come to the center. That I want to grow, I want to distress. Now you are distressing yourself more, right? You come here, you come to the center to distress yourself. So do it. Stick to that, right? And if you're not nasty, then the first thing is to stop your nastiness, right? Identify that, okay, I'm nasty, the person's nasty. So two nasty things there. Let's start with climb. Okay, so our job is always keep in mind that the same, how not to create problem in the community, wherever you are, in your family. Be the person to dissolve the conflicts. Don't be the person to flare up the conflicts. This is so important. First, learn how to love your mother. How to make the mother smile. Make the mother smile, right? The fathers usually, they are, they don't really expect it's a smile or whatever. The mothers, make them smile. They truly love you. They're so precious. But there are some fathers who are they crave for the love from the children, genuinely. So I have some beautiful anecdotes, but the mothers, no doubt. So first learn how to make your mother happy. This is important. And then when you know that how to make your mother happy, then see how to expand it to make your other family members, people at the workplace, then in your neighborhood, and then others who meet happier. Okay, so for this, all these things are a means to gather or accumulate merit. With the merit accumulation, then your journey is going to be very smooth. But young people, they only think of buying cars. They never think about the petrol that you have to put every day. They think of buying a good car, big car, right? And whereas the experienced people will think about, okay, this car was good. What's the mileage? They think of the mileage. Because every time you have to put petrol, if the mileage is less, the expenditure is so much, right? Young people, they don't think about the mileage. They only think about the big car, right? So it may, 1 kilometer may run only 1 kilometer more. 1 liter may run only 1 kilometer. It doesn't matter for the young boys and girls, right? Big car. But the experienced people say, oh, this car is nice, but what's the mileage? 1 kilometer? The 1 liter, 1 kilometer? No, it's terrible, right? It's too expensive. I don't want this car, right? Okay, so the experienced people will think about the car plus the mileage. The mileage is the merit accumulation. The car with the, what do you call it? The parts of the car, like the steering, the wheel, and so forth. These are like the solid thing, the wisdom to actually run. But what makes it run? They should fuel the air. The wisdom is the one which actually removes the mental defilements. But to what extent this wisdom will be effective to remove the mental defilements is determined by the merit accumulation, which is like the fuel. So these two must go hand in hand. So what we're reading is not just reading. Read it and see your mind, the meanings are reflected. And if possible, those people who have been exposed to this tradition for so long, for them, you have whatever little experience that you have. Try to invoke the experience. First, reading the words. Number 2, reflecting on the meanings. Meanings reflected. Number 3, experiences invoked. So those of us who have not meditated on this for a long time, experiences can be invoked. At least we can have the meanings reflected as we read. So if you don't reflect on meanings, the transformation will not take place. Whole purpose is to bring about transformation in the mind. Transformation mind. And don't say, even if it's a very tiny piece of diamond, it is diamond, don't neglect it. So all this what we're reading here, they're so precious. Don't say, oh, this is a very small thing. I know this already. No, don't discount on these. Every piece of these are all small pieces of diamonds. So make sure that we accumulate them, gather them properly. Okay, let's with some mind. That's page 4. Again, the Buddha's Bodhisattva is in space in front of us, so loving, caring, and embracing. And your Bodhisattva failed your two parents, your children, all the family members, all Tibet sentient beings, human beings, animals, insects, hungry-wolves, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, all the beings with you. With this mind, the whole purpose of reading this, reflect on this, listen to the teachings, group discussions, all these are meant to serve as factors, to remove the mental defilements, to make the Buddha nature, the seed of perfection within you, to become manifest. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. You will read this, the Tibetan version. This Tibetan version is what the many of the enlightened beings in Tibet, they recited in this language. So let's recite this and just imagine that this is the sound that you are hearing, although you may not know the meaning, but the sound that you're hearing now. So this is how all these great enlightened beings who became enlightened in Tibet, so they recite the same thing. I'm reciting the same words, the same sound with which they recited the verse. Okay, first up we'll say the first one, and then I'll give you the word-to-word meaning very quickly. Then we'll read the second and third, so that you will be able to take part in this. Sanje juda soge chonam la chanjo badu dani gyapsu che Dage jinso gebe chonam ge dola benjire sanje dubare sho. Okay, Sangye, the first one. Sangye is the Buddha. Chu is the Dharma. Tang is and Buddha, Dharma, and. Chok is the group or accumulation. Ki is a connecting linking word. Chok is supreme. Chok is supreme of the assembly, supreme of the group. Choki chok. Namla is to these, to them or to these. Sanju Zon. Changju Pardu. Changju is enlightenment. Changju is enlightenment. Pardu is till that point. Changju Pardu. Dak is I. Ni is again a linking point, linking word. Gyapsuchi is go for refuge. Gyapsuchi is go for refuge. I go for refuge till enlightenment, till I become enlightened. Dag is again same. Self, I. Ki is the linking the word. Jin is jinpa. Jin, short form of jinpa. Jinpa is generosity, giving. Jin. Sok is etc. Generosity and etc. Sok. Kipa is done or engaged in. Done, kipe. Chok namki. Chok is accumulation. Namki is these, by these. Dagi jinso gebe sonamgi. The accumulation such as generosity which I engaged in. Then last line, dola, do. Do is the sentient beings. Do. Do means move. Sentient beings, migrators, who migrates from one point to the second point in samsara. Sentient beings. Do. La is do. Pen is benefit, help. Help or benefit. Pen. Chir is for the sake of. For the sake of benefiting sentient beings. Sangye, Buddha. Dupa is attain, accomplish. Dupa shog, may. Shog is may. May I become Buddha for the benefit for sentient beings. Okay, we'll say this together 2 more times. Sanye joda soge jonam la janjo bardo dane gyabso che dage jinso gebe sonam ge tola benjire sanje rupare jo sanye joda soge jonam la janjo bardo dane gyabso che dage jinso gebe sonam ge tola benjire sanje rupare jo. The next verse is extremely important, and this we have to explain this in this class within this within this course. And who is going to remind me? Because this I cannot explain it right now. This requires the background there. Sorry, your name? Matthew. Okay. The Matthew will remind us, and I need 2 or 3 more people to remind me. Okay, Indrajit is there. 1 more. Okay, Zalina is there. Anu is there, and Vijay is there. Okay, how many people are there? Raise your hands again to make sure that other people can identify you. Okay, you know why I'm saying this? In case I've missed to explain this, I'm not responsible. This is why I make sure that there is the hands higher. Okay, so this we will most likely do on the 4th or the 5th day, not now. But we'll say this now and to see that, oh, it is so important what it means. Can I understand it right now? So enthusiasm will build up. That enthusiasm, you're building the inertia. Every day you feel, what is this? What is this? Inertia is built up, it becomes very stable. Okay. If you want to know what is merit, right? To make it very simple, it is the inertia of goodness that you build in your mind. Inertia of goodness that you build in your mind. For example, let's say that, or the gravity, inertia of the goodness that you build in your mind, or the gravity of the goodness that you build in your mind. This gravity you will not see. You will not see, it is there. And experienced people can see that in you. Not through clairvoyance, through the experience they can see in you. Right? Okay. What is that like? To give you an example, let's say that there are 2 rubber bands. There are 2 rubber bands, and the one you pull, and also you pull. Number 2, both you pull, and first one you pull, and what happens? Okay, they are of the same material, same quality. The first you pull, and you release it, it instantly goes back. Instantly goes back. Right? When you pull, the first one, second one you pull, you see that it's the same. The rubber bands from the same company, and you pull it, and so both, stretched. You think that this was same, but the first one you just release it, instantly it'll go back. Whereas the second one you release it, doesn't go back. It remains there. Okay, tell me, the rubber band, say what should we do to keep it staying there as stretched? Huh? You have to pull it, then it will break. What should we do? Then, no, what I'm saying is that without stretching it in, without forcefully stretching it further, that it stays in that shape. Huh? It may burn. Okay, they say dry in the sun or any other options. Huh? Anger is not a natural process. But I said it's naturally, you let it go and it stays there. Yes, do it many times. Some say that if you have a possibility for you to, to deposit money in the bank, and the bank gives you 100% interest. It's a huge. 100% in my country. 100% interest. It's amazing. But you're entitled to deposit only $100 a day, not more. You're getting it? So somebody deposited for 10 years. And again, a young child and you both go to the same bank, and today, both of you, people will see that you're doing the same thing. You deposit $10, $100 today. You'll see that. And then when the bank report comes, bank statement comes, the young boy is just, how many? $500 or $600 there. Whereas the other person has 10 years of accumulation, has gross $100,000 there. Why? We did the same thing, right? Superficially, we do the same thing. But it's not same. Other person did it for the last 10 years, 20 years. You're getting it? So, some people, they think that we are same. Why he is given special? Why he is given exception? She's given exception? Why? We are same. No, there's a difference there. Unseen. No, you may not see it. We give the same answer, but he approved that person's answer, not mine. Right? Why we give the same answer? No. There's a nuance there. All these nuances come from earlier practices. Maybe not in this life, somewhere else. So these differences there. These are known as accumulation merit, which you did, the gravity of the virtue that you gathered. That's a merit. You're getting it? Okay. So likewise, the merit accumulation is not just only one side. It should have the multiple facets. For example, generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, then the samadhi, and the integrity, and warmth, and restraint, contentment. All these things, they are all connected. So with this, then you think about the emptiness comes more naturally, more spontaneously. Okay, so there is a purpose. We'll read this now. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths cause those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subdue as expand the varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you I make prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I journey the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat desham chayo nirodha Evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham dathagato yevatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is nectar like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddha, so 3 times are behaved sins. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Also the mantra. Yata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gate Gate Parasamgate Bodhi Swahatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha. Okay, today, before we begin the main class, I'm thinking of explaining this from page 5, the 2 lines which we read. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teachers who guide and protect who do prostrations. This was composed by the great Indian master, logician, philosopher, psychologist, and the hermit who spent his life as a hermit and greatly enlightened being. Okay. As a hermit, in his hermitage, he great logician and philosopher. He planned to compose a text on the logic, and as a word of salutation, he wrote it on a slate, a slab, a stone slab. Okay, Rajinder, this little sound can be little low. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There's something there. Well, not echo.
No.
Huh? Say it again. Wow, this is revolve. But this is the Sunula. What this little girl is saying is very different. It's a very professional word. It's not revolve. Right? She's saying something very different. We should be very good listener. Right? She's saying something very technical. Not revolve. No, listen again. Huh? Reverb, not revolve. Right? Don't take for granted. Listen, be a good listener. Right? Don't think that she's the young girl. What she said is something very technical. Right? Okay. Reverb. Not revolve. Okay. Good. Still, there must be some feature there. Hello? But that's better now. But the sound should not be compromised. Those at the back, can you hear me? It's not the phone, it's this. Serene, can you hear? Serene? Okay? Good. Okay. So this great teacher, he composed the word of salutation before he composed the main body of the text on a piece of slate and kept it outside, and he left for arms round. Coming back, he saw that the what was written on the slate was erased. He wrote the same thing the next day. Coming back, erased. It happened 3 times. On the 4th day, he did not write what he wrote. Instead, he wrote, "Whosoever erased what I wrote." If you erase that out of joke, out of fun, what I wrote is not of fun. This is a very important point. Please don't erase this. If you erase it because you disagree with what I wrote there, show up in person. This is what he wrote, and he left. Coming back, a person was waiting there. In those days, show up in person comes means debate. This was tradition. Sort of them debated. And how can you imagine you winning and the debate with of the original, the logician, Acharya Dignag. And the other person lost the debate. In those days, all these gadgets, they were totally missing. There were no social media, nothing. So people, they're all directed towards, something different, like miracle powers and so forth. So that person had some miracle power. They sent fire through his mouth. So he was so angry over having lost the debate. He sent fire from his mouth to Acharya Dignaga. And Acharya Dignaga's robes were burned. And Acharya Dignaga, of course, he was practicing bodhicitta, this unconditional love for all the beings. And he was so demoralized, and he thought that if I cannot help even one person who is right next to my nose, next to me, how can I benefit all the beings? He felt so demoralized. He picked up the slate and threw this in the air. And by the time it should fall, he was to just quit thinking about all the beings, rather to commit himself to his own, the liberation. Then, to his amazement, the slate never fell. And he looked up in the sky. It was Aramanjushri. Aramanjushri was holding the slate there. And told him, "My child, why do you have to feel demoralized? What you are doing is so important work. And the result of this, you may not see it right now. but your composition is going to be like eyes for millions in the future to see the truth. Continue. My blessings always stay with you. So this is how the whole book came into being, on the logic. And these 2 lines, they are actually 4 lines. This is the full verse, but the two lines, the first 2 lines, they are relevant to what we're doing. And then His Holiness the Dalai Lama, oftentimes in his public teachings, begin by citing these 2 lines and explaining these 2 lines as a part of his teaching. And 2013, one early morning when His Holiness was in Delhi, the early morning, the secretary of His Holiness called me up and said that His Holiness wants you to the hotel. Then it was early morning. I rushed just to look for a taxi. I rushed to the hotel. And he gave me a lengthy instruction on how to run Tibet house, all these things. And then also His Holiness cited these 2 lines and said that we have to design our whole lifelong practice on the basis of these 2 lines. This is what His Holiness told me. Okay, so this is so precious. And the whole thing is that just see. First, let's listen to what is being said there, and then see that this is actually, if somebody were to tell you, what's the biography of the Buddha? Oh, Buddha is a prince, he did this, he did that, this is the 2 days of the stories of Buddha Shakyamuni can be shared in the form of the biography of Buddha. But for the intelligent people, 2 lines is sufficient. 2 lines is far better than ordinary people's sharing their life story of Buddha for 2 days. 2 lines is better. It's so succinct. It conveys the quintessentials of the biography of the Buddha. Okay, so it says, the first line, it says, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide. So if you look at his biography, we see that initially he was what an ordinary prince, and he demonstrated a great degree of compassion, as an ordinary prince, but demonstrated a great degree of compassion, great degree of intelligence. These 2 are demonstrated by this prince, and that he could not tolerate any kind of injustices in the palace. He could not tolerate that. Be it his cousins being all from the royal family, being abusive of the commoners, the servants in the palace, he could not tolerate. For him, everybody's equal. For the young boy, everybody's equal. So this was what he was going through. And then he also saw all these wars happening between the kingdoms. So much of killings happening, so much of pains on the ordinary people. So this is what he witnessed. So he thought that if I go through what my father went through, as a prince, becoming a king, at the most I can be of some help to the people in the kingdom. But even that is so partial, is not a complete, real benefit to the beings. So what benefit? And the world is suffering. I must be there to look for the solution to all these problems. So if I look at the history of the kingdom and the other places, just become another king and then you disappear from this planet Earth. So that way, this is not the solution to the humanity, to the problems of the world. So what he did, what he wanted to become, he wanted to be the solution to all the problems. So what is that solution? To guide all the beings to the ultimate happiness. To guide all the beings. So the first line says, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide. To become the reliable guide. But was he the reliable guide at that point? No, he aspired to become, which means he was in a state of not being a reliable guide. From there, he saw the need to be transformed into a reliable guide, to become the reliable guide, which means that he's not a god from the beginning, right? So where so many contradictions come into being, right? So whereas he's just ordinary person and then become a reliable guide. Oh, I'm also ordinary person. I can also become one like him. Yes, you can. Everybody can. This is a great inspiration to all of us. Whereas if the Buddha manifests himself as a very divine, right from the beginning, born, and then the glow the air, then ruling the whole world, then we'll not be inspired. He's very special. He's a God. We're not. But he came as an ordinary person and then became the reliable guide to show the path from his own experience. Okay, for example, say if we are in Delhi, you're coming to Deer Park for the first time, and you heard about the Ajirji all the time, right? Ajirji who has been conducting this program, they convened this program, attending the program himself, and then managing the program, making sure that everything is taken care of, administration, the participants, everything's taken care of. You heard about this for the last 10 years. And and you're going to Deer Park for the first time. So there are two sources who to rely on. One is Ajiji, which you have been hearing for the last many years from your reliable friends. And there's another person who said, I know everything about Deer Park, right? And you have no clue whether he actually knows, not knows. Suddenly you have somebody popped up and said, I know everything about Deer Park, how to go there, where to get, and how to get best room, right? All these things. And where to get the most efficient internet, where to get the specialty. I know every detail, right? Who will you rely on, to Ajirji or the other person? Why Ajirji? Why Ajirji? Anyone? Navinji, why? No, not only tea, he knows even the program, don't worry. I'll make sure that you get it, right?
We have to find out who he is first.
So you have no time. You have to decide right now. You follow one of these two. No. So who will you decide? Who will you take? Ajirji or the other person? Why? To make him happy? Because he's right there? Or why? Why? Tell me the reason why. Huh? Yes. He has been through this process. He's been through this process, his experience. He has been through this experience himself. You are very sure of that. Other person, you have no clue whether person has been through this experience or not. You are not sure, right? Ajirji, you are very sure. Because of this, it says, the one who has transformed, you're getting it? Who has gone through this process. So, I'm also an ordinary person. I cannot, go to some guru and tomorrow I become the reliable guide. No. So this is how I have to go through. Wise people will think like this. I'm an ordinary person. If I'm become more like him or her, then I have to go through this process. This is the only way. So I would rather rely on somebody who has this experience. Who has this experience? You're getting it? For example, a tour guide. A tour guide who always sits in the office and tells you, go like this. He himself never went there. Right? Go this. Whereas another person who actually went there, like Sonamla, coming to Delhi, to Deer Park almost twice every year in those days, right? Twice every year. Some says a tour guide or somebody who just gives you a paper, go like this, and Sonamla, you actually meet him, better get hold of Sunla. He will tell you all the details, any problem that you face with, and he will tell you, yes, this is about to happen. This is not new, right? This is what happened to me also. This you can fix this. This is how you have to fix it. He only doesn't know the difference between the revolve and reverb. Otherwise, Deer Park, how to go to Deer Park, all these things, just perfect, right? Okay, many years of experience. So the point is that the one who has transformed, this has a lot of information. Wise people will look for somebody who has actually experienced the journey himself or herself. This is how the wise person should look for the guide, as your guide. Okay, the one who is transformed into the reliable guide. Guide towards what? Guide for what? Guide for you to go to Goa beach? Guide you to take you to a pub? Or what? Guide for what? Anyone? Huh? Guide towards fearlessness and guide towards infinite happiness. Guide, and this is what we are seeking. Everybody's seeking, right? This is the guide that we require, and there should be a reliable guide. You're getting it, right? So you are supposed to be going to A, and the guide takes you to minus A. That's a disaster. That's not a reliable guide. Reliable guide is a guide who guides you. Sometimes even the guide is not too sure, right? Gonna get lost, right? Okay, so the guide is supposed to be taking you to A, fearlessness and infinite happiness. Shape, the person will be able to take you there, not minus A, right? Sometimes this is what happens, minus A. For example, like, animal sacrifice. Some traditions, they encourage animal sacrifice for you to achieve your goals. And this is a disaster. It is taking you minus. And instead of this, better remain as an ordinary person. That's better, rather than following the spiritual path of animal sacrifice and so forth. Remain, even say the people, it's very naive. Huh? Exactly. Terrible. This is amazing. Terrible. One time there was in my institute there was the one staff, and he was ordinary layperson, and during his last days he was going through some ailment, and it was, I don't know, I was just in my 20s, 21, 22, and he must be in his 70s. And we were so close, and I would always go to him, and then he said that I have this cough problem, and people told me that this cough problem will go away if I eat the meat of one particular bird. And initially, because he's like 50 years older than me, so who I am to tell him? And of course, he will not listen to me at all. I'm just a young boy. And then also did not take it too seriously. Then, after a few days, he said that I ate this meat. Then it really shocked me. I could not believe that he actually did it. So I told him that, where did you get this meat? He said that I requested some local boy, so that was in Dharamsala, local boy to get it. That he heard that the bird is available in the forest, to hunt down one, and this was. I said, no, this is terrible. It's terrible. You're a Buddhist, following the Buddha's teaching, following the teaching of harmlessness, and how come that you kill a living, very healthy life for you? Not sure whether you're going to, this eating meat will help you or not. No, in about a few weeks' time, he passed away. He died. So I said, this is terrible. This is terrible. Whoever said it, it has taken you into wrong direction. I told him. Yeah. So it should not be. We should be wise. So be kind to yourself. Yesterday we said it. Be kind to yourself and be wisely kind to yourself. Let's not forget these two lines. If somebody were to tell you, what is the purpose of life? Just say, be kind to yourself and be wisely kind to yourself. These 2 lines. Okay, so with this, be kind to yourself is go to your, say, the destination, fearlessness and infinite happiness. This is the be kind to yourself. What is be wisely kind to yourself is go in that direction, right? Go in that direction. Don't go to the opposite direction. Don't go to opposite direction, meant to get fearlessness and infinite happiness. Okay, so what did this prince do? What did this prince do? He's seeking, he's trying to be the solution to all the problems of the world. So what did he do? If you look at the Bible of Buddha, he left the palace. Because sitting in the palace, he'll become the next king. That's it. And the next king, he'll be trapped. And there's, again, my kingdom, that kingdom will fight with you, and you have to also fight with them. And then it's just a cycle, vicious cycle there. So he left the palace. Okay, left the palace out of what? What motivation? What motivation? Left the palace? Altruism, it says, motivated. Left the palace, motivated by altruism to benefit all sentient beings. That is compassion. So initial motivation was the motivation of compassion, number 1. So with his compassion, he left the palace, his sacrifice, his luxury, his leisure, his luxury, all his sacrifice. Then what did he do? He left the palace for what? To look for something. To look for something. So first he met with the first teacher, Acharya Alara Kalam, the first teacher. Then he received teaching from him, and the teacher taught him the meditation. So this meditation, very soon he reached the same level as that of the teacher, and he requested for more teachings. And the teacher said that this is all what I have. You have already reached such a high level, and that's it. You don't need anything else. So the guide to other people. And then this Prince Siddhartha said, no, so I do not get the solution to solve all the problems. Then he sought help of the second teacher, Acharya Udreka. And Acharya Udreka, his meditative stabilization is way higher than the first teacher. Again, very soon, Prince Siddhartha reached the same level as Acharya Udreka. And asked for, okay, this is the point where it is like, say like a place. A place, I'm just giving an example. Samsara is a place, and the second teacher has already reached the zenith, the pinnacle, the final point of samsara. Samsara, final point, has reached that highest level within samsara. He reached that level. And if you want to go beyond this, you have to see emptiness. If you don't see emptiness, you cannot go beyond. And that teacher, they did not have the experience of emptiness. So that teaches that you have reached the highest level. There's nothing beyond this. And all my students are your students now. You stay with me, you guide all these students. And the Prince Siddhartha said, no, still I'm here to find the solution to all the problems. So the Prince Siddhartha left for 6 years of austerity, 6 years of meditation, austerity, and then finally he found the middle way. That in terms of the activities, not to go into the severe austerity, not to go into extreme indulgence. Be in the middle. Middle way in terms of the behavior. Middle way in terms of your philosophy, in your thought process. Philosophy that things do exist, everything exists, but they don't exist the way they appear to me. They appear very different. They exist very differently from how they appear to me. So nothing exists objectively, things do exist. Nothing exists objectively. This is the deception. That we see things are so objectively real. In dream, we see dream is real. That is the ultimate cause of all the problems in the dream. You wake up, you see that nothing in the dream exists objectively. They're all subject real. You are freed from your fears of dream. So this is what he discovered. And then what happened? They motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. What is next? The teacher meaning that what he left the palace, motivated compassion in order to look for the solution to teach the beings. To teach the beings means he should become the teacher of the path to enlightenment. So that is the teacher. So with this, having found the path to teach, what should he do? He should first experiment it on himself. For example, let's say that the COVID vaccines. So before they're being marketed, before they're being produced on large scale, they should go through medical trial, right? For example, I know, by the way, is there any medical doctors or nurses here residents? Okay. And but antibiotics invented for the ulcer. The person who invented this antibiotics for the ulcer, what he did is that when he first invented it, he has to prove that it works. So what he did, he said that the ulcer, there's one kind of ulcer, not all. One kind of ulcer gastric problem, is because of the bacteria, some bacteria. And earlier, people thought that it is just because of the acidity or whatever. And he said that it's because of the bacteria. And the bacteria we can cure through antibiotics. And he invented the antibiotics. So, but to prove that this is the case, he first gulped the portion of the bacteria which create the ulcer. He gulped it, and in a few days, the effect has been felt. He started having this ulcer himself. After this, then he took the antibiotics. Then, whatever days, 10 days, 15 days, and he recovered. So, he experimented in himself. Likewise, this Prince Siddhartha, he experimented the path which he discovered, which he was to teach the sentient beings, the path of the wisdom of emptiness, which he discovered. He first had to experiment it in himself. And having experimented it on himself, what happens is that first, the ignorance, this is wisdom. The wisdom, yesterday we were talking about the wisdom, right? Slow wisdom, right? Hazy wisdom. Instead of that, instead of slow, very fast. Instead of hazy, extremely efficient, extremely profound, efficient, and fast wisdom. That wisdom, once introduced, once practiced, the opposite force, which is the ignorance, gradually subsides. When the ignorance subsides, ignorance is like the iceberg. In the Arctic Circle, on the iceberg, people build the igloo and all this, right? Or you can even build the buildings. So once the iceberg melts, what happens? All what is stacked on this iceberg in the form of buildings, igloo, whatever, they all crumble down. Likewise, ignorance dissolves, then all the afflictions dissolve. With the afflictions dissolved, what happens? Contaminant karmas dissolve. Contaminant karmas dissolve, what happens? Miseries dissolve. Misery is what? The lack of freedom, unease, agitation, irritation, they all dissolve. Sorrow dissolve. When sorrow dissolves, what do you call it? Peace. Absolute peace. You start to feel absolute peace. That is known as what is next? The teacher? Sugata. Sugata meaning the one who has gone to the bliss of total freedom. The bliss of total freedom from all miseries. This is what you experience, what he experienced. With this experience, then he went, what is next? Protector. With this experience, he becomes so confident that, okay, this is the path. So he went to protect the beings by sharing the wisdom which he experienced. So that makes him protector. So this is how this Prince Siddhartha undertook the journey of reaching to his aspired goals, the fearlessness and infinite happiness. Okay, if this is how he proceeded, can I achieve that? Yes. It's not that he attained that enlightened state right from the beginning. Beginning he was as ordinary as what we are today. With effort, with this very systematic effort, he reached that level. So if we put effort, we'll also reach the same level.
How can you say this under the light of meditation, the combination of merit, which we started this class, that he was ordinary? It cannot be an ordinary person, it has to be someone with tremendous meditation that he would feel have reason.
Okay, so what is ordinary? So ordinary again has many levels.
Like us,
Oh.
we did not accumulate lifetimes of.
Okay. Ordinary means someone who is yet to see the reality. Someone who is yet to see the reality because he was in search of what is to be taught. Someone who is yet to get the solution to the problems. So who was searching that. This is how he started. This means ordinariness.
Many people start to search, but few find and few become a world teacher.
Exactly. Yes. I agree. So therefore I told you, I agree with you fully. Say we speak of the merit. Merit has two versions. One is I don't know whether I shared this in this class or the morning. I don't mix up. Merit is of two kinds: mundane merit and the spiritual merit. Mundane merit is where, without any effort, you get so much money. You get, say the good people around you. So where they were so difficult to go to that place, many hours walking. Suddenly you plan to do that, the government already made a road there. As well as made for you. So these are all what we call as a mundane merit, result of mundane merit. Spiritual merit is where, say no matter how much the disturbance that you feel physically, mentally, but your mind towards the spiritual path is very steady, not at all shaky. It always remains very strong. No matter the more the difficulty, the more strong you are into the path. This is the sign of the person being very meritorious. Okay, so this is a blueprint of for somebody who's following the journey. Okay, if this is how he's successful, why not me? Right? And then meanwhile, and they say say from Delhi you go to Deer Park. How do you do? Either flight, train, car, bus, right? Oh, you take a bus. This bus. But when you should go there, right? Then you think of when you should go there, you realize that you become a little hungry, right? So what do? Then you have to ask the driver, can I get something eatable from? Then the driver stops, and you buy something, right? And then sometimes you may have motion sickness. So all these realities you have to tackle the case by case. Otherwise, this is the general blueprint. Okay, having seen this, tell me. Now, for us, what is important as an ordinary person, if this is how this Prince Siddhartha followed the path, you have now seen that, beginning from the ordinary state to become the reliable guide. Okay, so what for us to follow this path, what should we be doing? Anyone? This is what I'm saying. So from this path, what do you find the important points for us to actually embrace? Consistent towards it. Did it say consistent? Yes, it is. Consistency is implied. Anything else? No? Compassion is a yes. So motivated by, so let's say, the one who has transformed into reliable guide, that is the ordinary state to the resultant state, right? That is the main goal. How he became that is motivated by altruism to benefit all sentient. That's compassion. We need to work on compassion. You are getting it? We need to work on compassion, number one. Then number two, the teacher. Teacher meaning what the solution that you are to teach the beings. You have to seek the solution. Simply by being compassionate, you will not get the solution. You have to seek the solution. What is that solution? Solution is the wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? Solution, wisdom of emptiness. That is what we should get. Number 2. Then the Sugadan pretended these two are the resultant states. Resultant states. So what we have to do is that we have to do these two things. We have to focus on compassion. We have to focus on the solution, the wisdom of emptiness. We have to focus on these two things. One is the motivation, and the other one is the actual path that actually help us to reach these two goals. Okay. So with this is so important, and this is how the wise people approach the path. This is how the wise people approach the path. You'll see, is there anybody who has actually been to Deer Park, right? Somebody, oh, Deer Park, that's very easy, you do this. Have you been there yourself? Not really. Then you ask someone, have you been there yourself? Many times. Then you can rely on him, right? Okay, so likewise, they say somebody who has actually been there, somebody who's experienced the total fearlessness and infinite happiness, who's been there. And from ordinary state to that result, somebody who's been there, and somebody so beautifully articulated the experience of this journey. Resultant state and 4 points. The 4 points: the motivation of great compassion, and the actual path of the actual liberating path of the wisdom of emptiness to be taught, the teacher. Then having experimented this himself, experience the total bliss of the freedom. And finally, when to protect the beings by sharing this wisdom with others. The 4 points. Through these 4 points, we become so confident that Prince Siddhartha, later to become the Buddha Shakyamuni, he is the reliable guide. This is how the wise people follow the path. Okay, good. Good. So next, let's say is there anybody who come here who was missing yesterday besides Twinla? Is there anybody else who was missing yesterday? No one. Which means good. So the Twinla has to listen to the recordings, or did you get the briefing from Namsala? Good. Namsala briefing. Oh, good. Okay, so which means that we all have the background, yesterday's background. That is very important. Having said this, I cannot go into this text directly. It can be very technical, but once you get the background of this, then to follow this text is very easy. I may go to the extent of saying that after getting this background, if you read it, you can also understand like minimum 60-70%. But we are going to read this text, of course, and explain this after giving the background. So next is the what is that? So what we said here is the build the compassion part, number 1. Number 2 is the build the wisdom, the 2 things. Build the compassion part and the build the wisdom. And the reliable guide, as what we said, reliable guide is, okay, is it what, 10:30? Oh, 10:30 Tibet, right? Okay, that's interesting. It's like 10 minutes past. Okay, good. So this Prince Siddhartha later to become the reliable guide. Reliable guide means so what did we say yesterday? To solve all the problems, what should we be doing? Hey, you remember? How to have all the problems solved? Wake up! You're getting it? Wake up! Let's not forget it, right? Let's not forget it. Wake up! In fact, it was, they say, what is it? How many of you know the Speak McKay program? Speak McKay, raise hands. Oh, a number of you. Speak McKay program is a beautiful program for the youth. For the youth, and many of you took part in this, and Ajirji, maybe the youngest one. Okay, say it's for the youth. his youth program, and this conducted this amazing one who Professor said, Ajirji, Kiran said, amazing, wow. I'm really fascinated by this great professor. The first time I was introduced to this program, after the 5-day program, then everybody come together for the last performance. Everybody from different sections, they all come together, and I've been hearing Professor Kiran say, I'm hearing this, the one who started this program, and I got a feeling that he must be like somebody who is like very, whatever, I don't know how to describe it. There's somebody who's so embodying everyone, commanding everyone. And then my friend, he said that, my friend who's also one of the organizers, he said that, and you'll also meet Professor Kiran Sid there in that. So till that point, I did not meet him. And I was so excited to see what Professor Kiran said. And also I heard that he's very kind. Going there, I couldn't see Professor Kiran Sid. I couldn't see at all. Couldn't see him. Then I asked him, where's Professor Kiran Sid? Then he was sitting right in this auditorium. In the first row, he was just sitting in the first row with other students, sitting like this. And very, very unassuming. You cannot make out that he's the Professor Kiran Sid, as well as he's not just one of the students there. Amazing. And he was so unassuming when I came to him, and still he's sort of like a small child there, right? And then I introduced myself. Then he said, yes. You know, extremely humble, extremely gentle, down to earth. And then I was just observing. How come that such a down to earth, as well like seemingly a very inactive person? How come that he's so vibrant in his work? So vibrant. Believe it or not, one program, within one, they say, what do you call it? Session, what do you call it? No, they say the course, one course, workshop, within one shop, sometimes 20,000 students are involved. Such a large scale, there are two young minds involved. And how come that this person cannot be, must be different from how he looks? As well, very inactive, as well, very, like a small child. No, he must be very different. I was constantly observing. For like 1 hour, I was observing him, how he is doing that. And all the people come to see this. And sometimes when the people, they do things wrong, right? Do things wrong, he's very assertive. No anger, very assertive. No, do it like this, do it like that. And then amazing. Again, sitting very calm. I was so impressed. This is a bodhisattva. These are the great bodhisattvas. Amazing. So unassuming, and yet making things happen. Right? Okay. So with this, waking up, this Prince Siddhartha eventually became the reliable guide by becoming the fully awakened being. Okay. What is meant by fully awakened? What do you mean by fully awakened? What is the distinctive feature of that? Anybody? From what we've learned yesterday, don't think of your own ideas. You're getting it. What does it mean by fully awakened one? In your own words, from what we learned yesterday, no need to make it very complicated. Fearlessness. What do you mean awaken? Awaken is two connotations, two things to keep in mind. One is unawakened state. One is awakened state. What's the difference? Anyone? Very quick. Huh? Very good. What is subjectivity? No objectivity. So what? Not to see the non-objectivity? Not to see the non-objectivity? Not to see the subjectivity? But you do not say that. You just say subjectivity. So you may say, a pen, is it for eating? You have to say to write. right? Don't just say subjectivity. Subject doesn't mean anything. To see subjectivity, you're getting it. Very good. You have this in your mind, but you need to know how to articulate it. So to see the subjectivity, to see the emptiness of objectivity. You're getting it? Good. Anything else? Anybody else? Huh? Liberated. Liberated. Awakened meaning liberated. Okay. So now both are correct. Liberated. How do you connect this with the seeing the subjectivity? Right? So the two should be connected. Awakened, to see the subjectivity, to liberated, they all mean the same. How do you connect these three? This is so important. You're getting it? Okay. Anybody else? Tejala? Huh? Wake up from not only from the conventional dream, even from the unconventional dream. Wake up. Waking up from the unconventional dream. Again, very good. Anyone else? Remove the mental defilements. Remove the mental defilements, afflictive and corner obscurations, and your, say, the true nature wakes up. The true nature of yours wake up. Good. The Kabir. Remove the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. Remove these two, and this is awakened. All these boil down to the same point. Tejala, you just say something? No? Say something? Huh? Or everybody said it already? Oh, good. So I'm so glad that what you all said is what we learned yesterday, and they all boil down to the same point. Okay, what was said? Seeing the subjectivity, liberation, and what else? Waking up, and then what did you say? Waking up from both the dreams, not only from conventional but unconventional dreams as well, and remove your afflictive obscuration, cognitive obscuration, and somebody else also. So, remove the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. Anything left? Freedom from miseries, liberation, they all mean the same. So the point is that all what you said, if possible, note them down. In the group discussion, discuss how they are synonymous. How they are synonymous. You're getting it? Okay. So with this, do you agree with me? Do you agree with me that waking up means, what's the benefit of waking up? Even in a very ordinary sense. Waking up means that you'll be freed from the fears of your dream. You wake up, all the fears of your dream stop. How does that happen? What is the mechanism? By knowing that the dream was, whatever happened in dream was purely subjectively real. Purely subjectively real. Okay, so this is this is how, when you know that is subjectively real, you are freed from the fears of this dream. Subjectively real means that is empty of objective reality. So in other words, the point is that what we have to strive is to see how nothing exists objectively. You're getting it? Nothing is objective. Okay, you just pick up something from what is in front of you. Pick up something and show that to me. Pick up something and show that to me. Okay, good. And now, not only show that to me, look at it yourself. Look at it yourself. How does this appear to you? How does this object appear to you? Does it appear to you like, say, your mind subjectively creating it? Or it is, no, my mind has nothing to do with it. It's really there, so solid from the object. It's appearing from the object. How does it appear to you? Anyone? Objectively. Okay, it appears so objectively. And say how do things appear to you no, not how. When do you see things objectively? When do things appear to you objectively? When? Huh? Yes, when you have? Okay, when you have a fixed word, when you don't have a fixed word, then it appears as subject real.
Yeah,
Right?
So for example, let's say a pen.
Yes.
Pen may be a writing material, for a child may be a playing object. So it's a subjective experience of the same object.
No, this is not my question. My question is, when do you see things as objectively real?
When two people, more than one people say the same thing.
No, I'm asking you. When do you see things objectively? When do you see things? You don't see things objectively. Yeah. But let's not forget it. Let's not forget it. You know, at least in this hall, there's somebody who does not see things objectively, right? Let's not forget it. In future, if you have any confusion, you have to go to this girl, right? Okay, anyone else? My question is, when? Here's my question, when? When you're angry? Or when you're happy? When you are not happy? When do you see things as objectively real? This is my question. Okay, so let us all listen to the different people. When see, feel, when you don't see, feel, then no objective appearance. When you see, feel, objective appearance comes. When you don't see, feel, then no objective appearance comes. Okay, let's not forget the different answers coming. Yes. Okay, with the memories, things become very objective. When there's no memory, no objective. Okay. When a belief disappears, then the objective comes. When you don't believe disappear, is fine. And it does not appear as real. Anyone else?
Combination.
What combination?
Of my sense of it, depending on looking at it, and I recognize it as
Okay, when a combination is not there, then it does not appear as objective real. Right? When the combination is not there, then it does not appear as objective real. Okay, don't believe what I am paraphrasing others. You're getting it? I just paraphrase. My paraphrase doesn't mean it's my view. Right? Okay. Navinji? My question is, when do you see things as objectively real? When do things appear as objectively real? Anyone else?
when there is substance over there.
Oh, when you see a substance there, then we see as objectively real. Okay, good.
Proof of existence.
Uh-huh.
Proof of existence when I can witness that.
Okay,
When my language is there.
so when I'm looking for the proof of the existence, I can tell it's there, then it appears objectively. So till I look for the proof, it does not appear as objectively real. When you test it, then it appears objectively real. When you not test it, it's subjectively real. So when is that? No, what you said, I understand what you're saying. I think I understood what you're saying. That when you don't see things as subjectively real, at that point we see as objectively real. Right? But when is that? Is that when you're angry? Or is that when you are enjoying cheesecake? When are you ignorant? During the cheesecake or during the anger or in the dream or when? In the dream. No, don't just mimic somebody else. They may take you in the wrong direction. Don't follow them. Just speak your mind. Okay, Jay. Okay, when you don't discuss with other people, it's subjectively real. Okay, what about this? How does this appear to you now? Objectively or subjectively? How does it appear to you? I'm asking personally. How does it appear to you? Subject real? Like your mind is creating it. You do see that? Oh wow, this is amazing. Let's not forget it. Now we have what is it? Ishita, Jay. They are two young, one boy and one girl who sees things such as real. Don't forget it, right? Okay, two people are there, and many people. Not only two they articulated, right? Okay, here. Okay, when you with delusion, when you see things, they are seen as something real. But when does it happen? 2022 or 2023? Okay. Thank you. Gentleman over there, what's your name? Mayank, yes. What about yesterday? Yesterday, things appeared as something real or not? Yes, today also. What about tomorrow? Most likely, yes. Right? Okay, so in a way, what Mayank and your name? Rahul, what Mayank and Rahul is saying is that like it happens 24 hours. 24/7. It happens till you wake up from the sleep of ignorance. This is the answer. You getting it? Say, but don't say he said that 24/7 we have the appearance of reality, right? So he said it must be true. No? Note it down, what I said, and then later on you must subject this to evaluation to see whether what is said is true or not through your own experience. You have to study this first as to what it means by objective reality and what is meant by subjective reality. Once you're very, sure of how these two, what they mean, then you look at the rosary, you look at the pen, you look at anything, you think of yourself, the family members, the beautiful sunshine, and see how they appear to you, right? Okay, and how difficult it is to understand that what I'm seeing is not the reality. This is very difficult. Because it is difficult, the Buddha, Prince Siddhartha, after becoming Buddha, he remained silent for 49 days without giving any teachings. Indra and Brahma, the kings of the god and goddesses, they descended down, sensing that Prince Siddhartha attained Buddhahood, attained enlightenment on the planet Earth, and yet he's not doing anything. He's not giving teachings to the beings. He was motivated to benefit all the sentient beings. Now he's not benefiting any being now. So this should not happen. So they descended to make prostration to the Buddha Shakyamuni, made prostrations and requested, please turn the wheel of Dharma. Turn the wheel of Dharma means give teachings, please give teachings. So Indra offered the conch, symbolic of blowing the conch of the Dharma. And Brahma offered the wheel of Dharma, and symbolic of requesting Buddha to turn the wheel of the teachings, the wisdom of the Buddha. Okay. And then the Buddha recited, then the Buddha said one verse, which is included here, page 6. It says, profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is nectar like Dharma I've discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll retard the words. This is what the Buddha said. This page 6, in the middle, profound, peaceful, elaboration. Okay, it may vary which page 6? All on page 6? Okay, yes. So this path which I discovered is so profound, extremely profound. Yes. If we get a glimpse of this, you will feel the tickling sensation in you. You may feel a tinge of a fear also. You may feel extremely profound tranquility at the core of your heart. You may feel that. This is what is shared by the great enlightened masters about the experience of this. So it's so profound, and you experience that in a stable form. It's extremely peaceful. elaboration free. All these, what we see as imperfection, all these elaborations stop. The dream, imperfection, the dream stop when you wake up. All this elaboration of the dream stops when you wake up. The clear light is like a beautiful clear light, a non-composite, not created by any factors. Such is the nectar dharma I've discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to words. This is what the Buddha said to the two kings of the gods and goddesses. And these two of them made no prostrations, made no request. Please don't remain silent, please turn to Guru Dhamma. Then the Buddha turned headed towards Sarnath. And there, in Sarnath, the Buddha taught the first teaching on the Four Noble Truths. So, of all the teachings of the Buddha, they are subsumed under what is known as technically what is known as the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. The first one in Sarnath, second one in Rajgir, third one in Vaishali. Okay, the first turning of the wheel of Dharma in Sarnath, second turning in Rajgir, number third in Vaishali. Okay, I'll quickly explain what these three are. The first one, so for this, to know this, we need to know three things. Three things for each of the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. The first one, the first we need to know who's the target audience. Who's the target? Okay, the first one, the place where the teaching was given. Number two is the target audience. Then number three was the subject matter. Three things: the place, the target audience, and the subject matter. First turning of the wheel of Dharma, the place is Sarnath. And the target audience, to know the target audience, we need to know what is known as the four Buddhist schools. Four Buddhist philosophy schools. The four. Okay, what are they? Okay, how many don't know what these four schools are, sense? How many don't know? Okay, don't worry. There are many of you, many of the people here, they know, right? I'm going to share that for the newcomers. I'm going to share what they are, and then for more details, you feel free to discuss with the seniors. Okay, the four schools. The first one is Vaibhashika. Vaibhashika. V-A-I-B-H-A-S-H-I-K-A. Vaibhashika. Number two, Sautrantika. Number two, Sautrantika. Number two, S-A-U-T-R-A-N-T-I-K-A. Sautrantika. Number three, Chittamatra. C-H-I-C-H-I-T-T-A. Chittamatra. M-A-T-R-A. Chittamatra. Number four, Madhyamika. Madhyamaka, or some people call it Madhyamika. Madhyamaka. M-A-D-H-A-Y-A-K-A. Madhya. Okay. M-A-D-H-A-Y-A Madhya. M-A-K-A. Madhyamaka. Madhyamaka. Four schools. And these four schools, how I enumerate it, is on the basis of progressively becoming subtler. Progressively becomes subtler, which means the first one is very gross, and as you go higher, it becomes subtler. And the ultimate philosophy of the Buddha, which we have to realize in order to wake up, is in line with what was taught by the Madhyamika school. Madhyamika school, the fourth one. But okay, now why should we have to learn the number 1, 2, 3? Why don't we learn the number 4 directly if that's the ultimate? This is like saying that finally, if I'm to do PhD in quantum mechanics, why have to study Newtonian physics, right? You have to learn Newtonian physics. That's the foundation. Without this, you will be impossible to understand quantum mechanics. You have to learn Newtonian physics. So all this groundwork must be done in order to get to the highest level. It is like climbing the terrace. So there should be the steps. If you jump to the terrace, you'll fall. So you have to climb use the steps to get there. So these are the 4 steps to get to the ultimate wisdom, to wake up from the sleep of ignorance. Okay, so the first turning wheel of Dharma. Oh, we'll stop here. Tirtha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha Tyatha Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata